Huh, you're blue, Kakarot? Well, I'm even bluer! That's right everyone, Dragon Ball Super episode 123 just rolled up and yeah, there's a lot of blue going on. Full body, spirit, and power unleashed. Goku and Vegeta. Ah yes, so many bodies and spirits to crush. So after the hype and excitement of last week's episode with its glorious animation, expect things to potentially relax this week, but given the subject matter we're about to face, I kinda doubt that. Also, thank you so much to everyone who took part in the hashtag TOP Cowboys fan art challenge last week. It was amazing. We had the most entries yet and some really good ones too. If you'd like to take part in next week's fan art challenge, which I think in a way is this one, then just stay tuned to this video, wait for the hashtag, and then your fan art could be featured in next week's episode. So yeah, get drawing and stand by for the next shout out. Where we last left off, Vegeta was machtig bereiting his final flash right at Jiren, and it turns out that ultimately it did not work. It did not work. Jiren looked like he'd been hit, but it turns out that he hadn't. He was faking it or something, like a child trying to skip school, and yeah, he looked like he had the most amount of motions that any other person could have ever. He looked peachy clean as if he'd just gone to the shops or something, and then came back to see a metaphorical dog, in this case Vegeta, having left an accident on the carpet. Or something like that. Jiren's really kinda hard to read. Basically, Vegeta's currently on the ground right now, having regained consciousness after last week's episode where he looked really out of it, so I guess progress, good old Jeet, he hangs in there somehow. Naturally, Vegeta isn't happy about this, and he's very upset, especially when Jiren lays down the ultimate bomb. He doesn't even refer to Vegeta by his name. He just calls him Warrior. Sleep now. Oh no, he didn't. He didn't just press the Goku button right there. He smashed the button, ground it up into several tiny pieces, he then turned it into shampoo and massaged it into Goku's hair. Oh. Of course, the grandstand is flawed and Shin's hair is taller than ever. The Universe 11 crew, they're trying their best to sugarcoat the situation by going, well, hey, at least Jiren referred to Vegeta as a warrior, eh? Huh? Guys, come on. This is like trying to sugarcoat a Switch cartridge. It just can't be done. Oh look! The Omni Kings are doing something not in unison for once. They actually have the capability of independent thought by saying their own dialogue and not repeating each other. My mind's blown, guys. Whoever wrote this episode deserves a gold star. Jiren only turns around again when Goku powers up and Jiren's ready to fight this guy, which just pulverizes the Goku button for Vegeta even more. Man, this just isn't Jeet's day, is it? Or in the case of the Tournament of Power and the time scale for us, it's just not his minute, is it? Meanwhile, Dispo's living up to the mini-meme that was created when he was running around the arena with Frieza by the tail, which was much funnier than expected. But then again, playtime is over for Frieza because we have to remember, he's not golden yet. We haven't seen the true power of Frieza, so we're going to expect something quite twisted, and it's beginning right now. Now we're getting to see Frieza pretty peeved, and he's going, "Ooh, my turn, bunny boy." As he launches several finger beams at once, we then instantly cut back to Goku and Jiren staring each other down. But instead of actually going into that fight, we then transition again to 17 and Gohan fighting Toppo. Wow, that was a really dynamic transition, albeit slightly clunky, but I appreciate the effort nonetheless. It makes the whole thing feel as if it's happening all at once. Good job. Toppo is defending himself against 17 and Gohan, then bizarrely mooing, before finally giving us some really sweet justice with the Justice Flash. Once again, one of the best attacks to have been generated from the Tournament of Power arc, and just like, it's just so directional, you know? Gohan then tries to help 17, but Toppo checks in and he hurls him into 17 and both of them go falling down to the ground. So yeah, that team is really not working. But the best thing about this is that 17 actually realizes this and says like, hey, we really shouldn't be working together, you know, because we've never actually fought before. And to be fair, they've not really met before prior to the tournament, so yeah, 17 has a really valid point. And honestly, I think Frieza got the easiest fight of the tournament right now, to be honest, because Dispo, he's relatively easy to read. He's just very fast. Oh man, Toppo, that justice just blows me away. Give it to me. Give us some justice, Toppo. Give it to us. So after all of this, 17 devises a plan. He will go after Toppo and then try and distract him, and then Gohan tries to do something that will knock both of them out of the arena. It's a good plan, albeit a little bit extreme, but I'll take it. It's 17 thinking of something instead of just going, wow, Toppo's really strong. Yeah, he really is. I don't know what we'll do. I don't know what we will do. Yeah, kind of going back and forth, thinking of something that isn't just hitting him really hard. 17 then goes up to Toppo, and despite his arm being twisted by Toppo, encases him in his shield, and then Gohan comes in with a Kamehameha to push them both out of the arena. It's a good plan. A plan that would have been even better had 17 not gone, Gohan, do the thing! You know the thing? That'll be really distracting, and yeah? Oh well, can't have it all. But alas, Toppo sees right through this and is able to break the shield barrier and then is free. We then cut back to Goku and Vegeta, with Goku having to tippy-toe around Vegeta, going tiptoe, and just trying to get the idea about how close he can get to Jiren before he actually bites, because it turns out that, the Spirit Bomb and the Final Flash, long distance attacks, they don't work, so they gotta get up close, because, yeah, those are ultimate attacks and they do nothing. So the next thing that Goku can think of is that while he's fighting Jiren, he's dropping small little blue bombs around the place using instant transmission to try and get away. It looks like to Jiren in theory that he's just messing around with the alien, but no, he's laying down some mines and then eventually they do work, despite looking really weird. The Zenos are actually saying their own unique lines without parroting each other. I don't know what to think, guys. The Zenos are actually their own characters for once. But yeah, back to the plan. It all ends up with Goku doing a Naruto run up to a cliff and then just letting chaos happen. This all sets up a chain reaction of explosions set off by the little blue bombs, and it had to be expected they do absolutely nothing. Goku then counters this with a Destructo Disc, and Krillen sheds a tear. And again, this does absolutely nothing. And actually, Goku, okay, let's picture this. What if the Destructo Discs did hit, and Jiren was sliced up, and he was killed? You'd be disqualified, the tournament would be over, and you look like a right dingus. As Krillen would say, use a Destructo Disc responsibly, my friend! All of this makes a plinth similar to Pride Rock, as Jiren and Goku are dangling over the edge fighting each other. And then we get Jiren air punching Goku similarly to what Hit does, except without the time skip, and Goku spits up... spit, not blood, because remember, we gotta think of the kitty winks. And then Jiren sets up a concentrated punch that I would not want to be on the receiving end of, and I wouldn't want to be fisted by that. But wait, it turns out the Destructo Discs weren't done. They then slice up the plinth, which then sends Jiren falling, as well as Goku. And yeah, not gonna lie, that was a pretty impressive twist. We then head into the second half, with people suspecting that Jiren might be down and out. Oh god, sorry, I couldn't finish that sentence. Really? Do you really think that Toei would allow that to happen? There's just way too much marketing to be had. Meanwhile, Krillen then remembers something. He used that attack against Goku a couple of days ago while they were training. Goku, stop stealing other people's attacks, yo! Stop it! I think the only unique attack you have is the meteor crash, and then that's it. Yeah, comment people, help. Sure enough, Jiren is able to survive this onslaught by just jumping off the rocks one by one, and yeah, he's got the red aura, and yeah, he looks really mad. This actually gives me a good idea for this week's fan art challenge. So Jiren is actually showing emotions for once, or what seems like emotions. So send me your fan art to my Twitter at MasakoX with the hashtag #EmotionalJiren, and a selection of them will be shared at the end of next week's review. So really think creatively, guys. What would get Jiren emotional? It can be mundane, it can be really exciting, just go nuts. Good luck! So speaking of Jiren, he is now showboating his own powerful strength by letting energy just rise up like Goku did in the last episode, which I really did not see coming. Kind of ironic in a way. After exchanging punches some more, Jiren then powers up the attack he was going to do earlier, and it turns out to be a punch beam, which was a warning shot and goes through several mountains. Oh, okay. And then it turns out it was just a simple punch. That wasn't even an attack. That was just a thing. And Goku was scared out of Super Saiyan Blue. Damn. Naturally, Goku is really overwhelmed by this, and I think Jiren's trying to invoke Ultra Instinct out of Goku to try and get a real challenge, but it's just not happening. Vegeta steps up, showing the tenacity of the Saiyans and that they're not meant to be underestimated, which we've seen many times before, but it still looks cool, so I don't care. And this kind of reminds me of the Cooler movie, that scene where they're going up against 1,000 Cooler robots, and they're just going like, ugh, we're not really strong, but I'm gonna try anyway. At once, Goku then goes Kaioken Blue, and Vegeta powers up also, but this time slightly different. His hair glows white, as if he were evolving into another kind of Pokemon. And don't worry, I'm not cheapening the event right now, it's really important, but the effect just looks like it came from Pokemon, so yeah, that's just the effect artist's fault. Vegeta is remembering Kaba's promise and that he needs to keep it up and get the Super Dragon Ball, so yeah, it turns out that Vegeta does care. You know what I think this might be? I don't think he's mastered Super Saiyan Blue anymore. I think what this might be a reference to is Super Vegeta, because when the first time we see Super Vegeta, his hair is really shiny. So yeah, this might be what you could describe Super Vegeta Blue. We then get Ultimate Battle Sans vocals as Jiren is defending himself against Goku and Vegeta, now all powered up. They're working together! Whis must be really happy right now! This is what he's wanted since Super began, but oh no. It turns out they're actually not working together after all, because Whis is not impressed. This may seem like they are, but they're not. So ironically, it's still working against Jiren. And Beerus is just saying, well hey, let's just roll with it, you know, because they're about to destroy Jiren, and that's just as good as well, when's pudding. The episode then ends with 7 minutes to go as Jiren stares down against Goku and Vegeta, once again, like an old episode of Dragon Ball Z. Feeling authentic, guys. All in all, this episode was about the fighting, and to me, it felt like just as much as an old school Dragon Ball Z episode as last week's episode, perhaps even more so. But then again, this reminds me of something that I've been saying for the longest time. You don't need to have stellar animation week by week. What you need for Dragon Ball Super is to have decent animation and a decent story and composition to back it up. If you've got that, no one thinks about the animation, and you get a really neat and well-rounded package which is really consistent and will actually last the test of time. We just need to ensure that the dialogue and the scenes and the storyboards just match up with some pretty good animation. That's all we need. As for Jiren, I think this might be the first time we've seen him off balance, off kilter. Like, we may have seen it beginning to happen in the last episode, but here, we've really seen Jiren being tested. He got somewhat emotional. He realized that this is not something he expected with Vegeta's new power. Yeah, we might be seeing more and more of Jiren's vulnerability. Interesting times, guys. Interesting times. But anyway, that was my review for Dragon Ball Super episode 123. Tune in next time for my review of episode 124. Until then, be sure to like and subscribe. Catch you later, and here comes the fan art.